आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ओम सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। So 277 introduction, where Bhagavan Vyakhanakara said that he quoted Bhagavad Gita shloka and also an Upanishad Vakya mantra, Asmal Lokat Pretya Tyadi, and then Shane Shane Uparamed. Slowly, how the resolution of the of everything to fructify into Nididhyasana, what is the process, how that has to be done is mentioned there. So, Shanai Shanai, it should be done slowly, and once you hold on to that tattva cognitively, then Atma Samstam Manakrutva, Buddhya Dhruti Grihitaya, then Atma Samstam Manakrutva, mind should be focused only on your Nirguna Brahmatma Tattva. It should not be focused anywhere else. It should not be distracted anywhere else. Therefore, he said, Nakinchidapi Chintaye. Should not think about anything, whether what is going to happen next, or there is a fear that, the mind is resolving. So the mind is going to die away. As Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, the mind wants to survive and it is going to die away. Therefore, it struggles. These vasanas struggle because he personifies them and says that they are struggling for their survival. And then they drag us along to that level as to, I am not going to exist. But that is not true. We have studied that it is not true. We know that we exist in Shushupti. If someone were to tell you that in sleep, you do not exist, then who will go to sleep? Nobody will go to sleep, but sleep is Ananda Swarupa. Similarly, this moksha is Ananda Swarupa. It is not ceasing to exist, but it is ceasing to exist as an individual and attaining our Purnatva Swabhava. Therefore, being convinced in that manner, Kinchidapi na chintayet, you should not crave for it, nor should you run away from it. So it is said here, iti smrityacha katitamartam vasanakshaya upayam aha. This is the for vasanakshaya. Finally, you stay in your own swarupa, then everything else will slowly fall away. Yatha yatha pratyagavasritam manaha tatha tatha munchati bahyavasanaha nishesha mokshe sati vasananam atmanubhuti pratibandha shunya. So yatha yatha manaha pratyagavasritam bhavati. As and when, at each and every stage, slowly, when the mind becomes placed in its own swarupa, the inner self, pratyagavasthitam manaha. So mind stops being focused outward and then it becomes inward and it stays with your own swarupa. Tatha tata manaha bahyavasanaha munchati. As and when that is happening, at every stage, at every moment that one stays with oneself, the mind starts dropping away all the external vasanas. Slowly it will happen, shanai shanai. Nothing is going to happen in a day or a month or a year or anything. It should be continuous. There should not even be a thought as to when will it fructify. That thought is also binding. It's a binding thought because looking forward to when it will happen, that question itself will become an obstacle to the samadhi or for the mind to stay with oneself. The nishtha will be blocked even with that question lingering on, because the mind is being kept alive by any thinking other than Atma. Even the thought as to when will I get moksha, that thought will also become an obstacle to this Swarupa nishtha. Therefore, it is a yatha yatha pratyekavasitam manaha pratyekavasitam bhavati tatha tatha manaha bahya vasanaha munchati. So, bahya vasanaha is Dvitiya Bahuvachana. It is karma to manaha to munchati, and mana is the karta. So, you have to reuse mana for anuvritti, for anvaya. You should use the manaha as an anuvritti to anvaya. In the second line also, nishesha mokshe sati, vasananam nishesha mokshe sati. So vasanas, when there is freedom from vasanas through this process, this is the process. Through this process, when there is freedom from vasanas, then, and nishesha, when vasanas do not remain to bring about obstacles or to block the nishtha. So those vasanas are to be dealt with completely. So vasananam nishesha moksha. Nishesha means it does not remain anymore to trouble you and block nishtha. When that happens, what happens then? Then there is nothing else other than you. That is the real you. And then atmanubhutihi or atmasakshatkaraha, anubhuti. Atmanubhutihi becomes what? Pratibandha shunya bhavati. Atmanubhuti pratibandha shunya. There is always atmanubhuti. There is always anubhava of Atma. In each and every anubhava, each and every jnana, pratibodha viditam matam. That is why it is possible to know yourself in each and every cognition. In each and every unit of anubhava, in each and every objectification by the sense organ, you are present. And that is your real Sarupa, that you make everything, every cognition possible, because you are present. I see, I hear, I smell, I taste, I feel the touch. So I is having the anuvritti all the while. Without the I, there is no anubhava at all. No jnana is possible, no anubhava is possible, and that atmanubhuti is always there. But now what happens? Even when you are meditating, even when you are trying to do nididhyasana, after Shravana Manana, still these vasanas that I am a Sharira, I am this individual, these ideas keep on popping up, and therefore that Atmanubhuti is blocked. Earlier it was blocked due to all these cognitions which come as noise, all these anatma cognitions. And then it keeps on making the feeling of our being deha, ahankara and mamakara become stronger. But what happens once after Shravana Manana? There is loosening from that. Upanishad helps you loosen all these bindings, and then this tadatmya sambandha, when it is dropping off, you are trying to gain nishtha. That time vasanas surface, and then they bring about these bindings again. They try to bring about, and we have to not let them do that. So thus far Atmanubhuti was there, but it was mixed with other cognitions, or it was mixed with wrong notions, or even with the right ideas. The vasanas didn't let that nishtha, nitaram sthiti to happen. So it was in bits and pieces, there were glimpses. But now what happens? Atmanubhuti pratibandha shunya bhavati vartate. It remains without any obstacles. Bereft of obstacles, your Swarupa is continuously known to be there without any erroneous association, wrong association. Without those, there is continuous stay in that Swarupa. Stay in the sense there is no karma there is no kriya involved, it is just being what you really are. Yatha yatha pratyak antah manaha. Pratyak is antah, innermost, the inner self. But yatha yatha pratyak antah manaha avasthitam bhavati. It becomes more and more inner, not innermost self here. Pratyak, it is not pratyak atma, it is pratyak avasthitam. So when the mind becomes placed within more and more within, inwards, then avasthitam manah avasthitam bhavati. How? Abhyasa vairagyabhyam. With abhyasa, with practice, abhyasa is repetition. You keep on repeating, it should become your second nature. What should be the second nature? The withdrawal should be second nature with effort, and then it is actually your swarupa. So second nature is just it's a phrase. It's just a phrase, but you should, with effortlessly, to say that effortlessly you should be able to remain without slipping into anatma. That is said as abhyasa. There, abhyasa, it's repeat the abhyasa till it becomes natural to you. And vairagya, without vairagya it is not possible. So vairagya has to be there. Most of us who do not feel that jnana is working, vairagya is lacking. We indulge, and see, indulgence will bring in more vasanas. You cannot be, it is like trying to remain still and also running. So elsewhere in Gita Bhashya, Bhagavan Bhashyakara says, it is like Sthiti-gativat. Sthiti-gativat virodha is there. You are trying to remain still, but you are running, hankering after Vishayas. So you cannot remain still when you are running. It is impossible. Similarly, without vairagya, if you keep on doing abhyasa also, without vairagya, this abhyasa will not bring complete results. It may not bring, it may bring a bhranti result, but it will not bring the real result. The swarupa cannot be known unless vairagya is there. So one has to be able to withdraw from the world as mithya. If it is mithya, then why would anyone want to try to indulge, even in the mind? Because the sukha that you feel, Vishaya Sukha, Vishaya Ananda, that is a bhranti. The Ananda is your own swarupa. If you are convinced of that, then vairagya should be but natural. So here he says, Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tatha tatha bhahyavasana. What are these bhahyavasana? He says, whatever is external to you, he says, putradishu. And then mamata. Mamatam annamayadav ahantam cha munchati. So ahankara and mamakara. Ahankara is with one's own body, mind, sense complex. Ahanaka paryantam. Ahanaka paryantam is up to the extent of your nails. That is our ahankara. Beyond this body, beyond these nails, what exists is the external world, but there is mamakara in that. My son, my children, my wife, my husband. So putradishu mamatam, that is mamakara. And annamayado ahantancha. With all these koshas there is ahankara. Ahankara bhava cha munchati. Mind gives this up. It gives up the ahankara with the sharira, all the shariras, all the koshas, and it gives mamakara with the family and friends. Vasananam nishesha moksha. Because you see, if you are not an individual, how can you have a friend? How can you have children? It is for the sharira. The sharira has a connection. You have erroneous connection with the sharira. Thereby you have erroneous connection with the others also, with mamakara. This gauna atma bhava is there. The atmatvam extends unto children and family and relatives and even friends. How? It's all good, but all good only till you become a sadhaka. After you have come to sadhana, after you have ensured that what is your swarupa, it is inquired into and manana siddha it is, after that you should not hold on to these attachments. We hold on to these attachments, we should do what needs to be done, that is all right, but then to hold on to that with the same intense feeling as before, that is mithya, that is mithya indulgence. Thereby what happens? Again the ahankara mamakara will become stronger and jnana will not work, because jnana is trying to remove ajnana. We indulge in ajnana karya so much that ajnana becomes more and more dridha instead of becoming thinner and thinner, and for jnana to completely destroy it. We are feeding it. So this is how unfortunately our behavior is. So vasananam nishesha mokshe. vasananam nishesha mokshe nirvikalpaka samadhi nairantaryena. How will this happen? So he says nirvikalpaka samadhi. Samadhi which is that, so there are savikalpaka samadhi and nirvikalpaka samadhi. In savikalpaka samadhi the vritti is retained, and in nirvikalpaka samadhi the vritti goes away. How is savikalpaka samadhi also helps, but it helps to retain the jnana, but nirvikalpaka samadhi works on the root cause vasanas which are presenting obstacles. So thereby nirvikalpaka samadhi, and it should not be 5 minutes of meditation and then 45 minutes meditation class. In that samadhi does not, samadhi if it takes place, it is not for a long while, but then continuously one has to be meditative, even when not in meditation, so to say, setting aside time for meditation. If one is meditative throughout the day, that will help. And how do you meditate? What is the meditation? It is not meditation the way a yogi does on anything and everything. It is on Mahavakya, it is on the Tattva, it is on Manana Siddha Tattva, thereby Vasananam Nishesha Mokshe. How? Nirvikalpaka Samadhi Nairantaryena Vedanthartha Vichara Purassaram. That Samadhi should be preceded by Vedanthartha Vichara. It should not be on any. So Dharana Dhyana Samadhi, what do you do Dharana on? It should be Vedanta Vichara. That should be, Manana should be the Dharana. You cannot have it on anything else. Anything else becomes Upasana. If it is in Ishtadevata or anything, it becomes Upasana. If it is on for a Siddhi, you do it on a particular Devata or a particular Tattva. Anything other than your own Swarupa, if there is meditation on that, if there is Dharana Dhyana on that, then the Samadhi which results in, it may give Siddhi, it may give something else, but it will not take away Vasanas, which it may take away Vasanas also, but what kind of Vasanas? Those Vasanas it won't take away which are blocking your Nishtha in Atma. Thereby you have to, it is like a Hatha, you hold on to. So in Hatha Yoga they force the Kundalini, they force the Prana, they hold the Prana, they lock it somewhere with Bandhas and Mudras and Pranas, but what we do is we hold on to the Tattva which is our Swarupa at the cost of everything else. So that is the Vedanthartha Vichara Purassaram Nirvikalpaka Samadhi Nairantaryena Kriyamanena, through that which is being done, that kind of a Samadhi which is being practiced. Rasoapyasya param drishtva nivartate iti smritya nishesham yatha bhavati tatha. So Rasoapyasya param drishtva nivartate. What happens is that generally when Abhyasa Vairagya is done, practice of withdrawal and Vairagya is giving up the indulgence, giving up something which is external to you or even internal to you, but which is not good for sadhana, which may be dharma. Most of the times it is adharma, but even if it is dharma, still it is not that which is helping you to in final purushartha. Thereby what will happen? One keeps on building vasanas, but what is happening is even after abhyasa, vairagya also is practiced by force. What happens is that there is bija. Bija as in vasana rupa bija is there. If I like sweets, I may stop eating sweets, but the taste for sweet is still there. So if the doctor has said that, okay, you do pathya for, you don't eat oily stuff, you don't eat this fast food kind of a thing, for at least for a month you do that for some reason, or you don't eat sweets for a week or whatever, or you don't eat what you like for a few days due to some medication which is working, especially in Ayurveda. What happens? We want to eat, but we don't eat. So inner taste is there. Similarly, when you forcibly withdraw from everything without understanding the tattva, as to there is Vishaya Sukha, if that misunderstanding continues that there is Vishaya Sukha, but I am withdrawing from it, I do not want it, I am forcing myself away from it without understanding that there is no Vishaya Sukha at all. Then what will happen? This rasa remains, the taste remains. Taste for that Vishaya will remain. Now this will lead to another Janma and another Janma and another Janma. Or even in this Janma it will block Nishtha. Because when we are alone, left to ourselves, and we are trying to concentrate on the Tattva, on the Vedanta Vichara, and then trying to lead ourselves to Swarupa, our own Swarupa, meaning dropping everything else, then these Vasanas will come up and they will try to bring in that craving which is there at rest, but then it gets an opportunity to surface, because you are not actively, at that point of time, you are not actively negating. The mind is becoming calm. When the mind is becoming calm, that time these Vasanas have an opportunity to attack. So rasa remains, and in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says that rasa remains. One can even starve. So an example of food is given because it's easier. But food is upalakshana for everything else. Every Vishaya that we crave, there is rasa towards that Vishaya. So rasa literally means taste, but taste for other objects, for taste for anything which is seen or heard. All this is there. I have a taste for music, I have a taste for this. So taste is a common word across all sorts of cognitions, towards all sense organs. But taste literally with food is easier to understand with an example. Therefore he says that a person may starve. In the Gita Shloka he says a person may starve. Even a person who is starving, so upvasa is done for that reason as well, a side effect. Even if you are a person who is starving, he becomes weak. So when the sharira becomes weak, the mind also becomes weak, because in Chandogya it is, even with an example, with a practical example, it is explained that how mind is also an effect of food. It is being strengthened by the food that we partake. So the food which we eat, based on the quality of the food, so is the quality of the sharira and quality of the mind also. Now when you start starving the sharira, then the sukshma sharira mana also starves. Then what happens? The mind cannot think. We think that this is vairagya. So having forced the sharira, so Bhagavan Krishna says that even a person who is starving, his indriyas become weak. That is not vairagya. It may be training, but still it is not vairagya, because rasa remains. The taste for the external object still remains. But what happens here? Nishesha mokshe, vasananam nishesha mokshe sati. Then how? With nirvikalpaka samadhi nairantarena. And what is that samadhi on? Vedanta artha vichara purassaram nirvikalpaka samadhi nairantarena kriyamanena. That samadhi which takes place once we don't crave for samadhi, but the samadhi is an automatic result of holding on to your Atma Tattva. And if that is practiced continuously through Abhyasa and Vairagya, then what will happen? When this samadhi takes place, it will take away because Vedanta Artha is clear. You know that you are Brahmatma, the Ananda Sarupa is your own. Therefore the rasas will go away, vasanas will go away, and for that pramana is this Gita Vachana, Bhagavad Vachana, which is Rasopyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate. Once that Paramatma Anubhuti happens, your own Swarupa is known. So far it was, it was Paroksha, it was not Aparoksha. Once it becomes Aparoksha, you know first hand that yes, this is my Swarupa. That Samadhi Sukha is not coming from anywhere else, it is your own Swarupa. Once that is known, because sometimes many people have trouble understanding Shushupti Ananda. It is easy to forget the Ananda that we are continuously experiencing in Shushupti, in deep sleep, and we can recall it, but then it is easy to forget because of this Vishaya, bombardment of Vishaya Sukha, or trying to crave for the Vishaya Sukha. We forget our Swarupa Ananda is manifest even then, which was there in Shushupti without any Vishaya. So for these people, Samadhi is very important to know that how your own Swarupa Ananda, the Ananda is your own Swarupa. So it is a practical expression of Ananda without the Vishaya and without the sleep, because the sleep example is after waking up. It works on in recalling, trying to understand. Those who have difficulty to work through this jnana, samadhi is an example which is anubhava siddha, and during samadhi itself you know that there is sukha. Unlike in sleep when you have to recall, in samadhi also there is a recall, but then you know that you are not asleep. You know that you are not asleep, you were there. So you are there as a witness, you are there merged in that, you know there, thereby samadhi is given as an example here. And samadhi, another, see, sleep, although there is Swarupananda only in sleep, but then mind is not, mind is merged in such a manner that Nidra Vritti is there. That Nidra Vritti is Avaraka Vritti, it covers up. It covers up your Swarupa. In Samadhi, that covering of Swarupa is not there. Thereby what happens is that state, for a lack of better word, that state which is Brahmarupa Samadhi, that works on vasanas, and then it cleanses vasanas like an Amrita Dhara. It is said in yoga text, it's like an Amrita Dhara which takes away this poisonous vasana, set of vasanas, and therefore it is said Rasopyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate. That rasa also will go, because you know there is no Vishaya Sukha. There is another rasa. For yogis there is another rasa which comes up by samadhi experience. They want the samadhi experience more and more and more, and then that becomes binding. We should not fall into that trap where Bhagavan Gaudapadacharya says that he uses rasa as another rasa, samadhi rasa. So he says that Ananda rasa, if you start tasting and get a taste for that, that will block your even, in fact it is explained in two ways. One is that Savikalpaka Samadhi itself will give some Ananda rasa. If you start tasting that and develop a taste for that, then it will block the Nirvikalpaka Samadhi, which is your Swarupa. So you will always be holding on to manifested Ananda instead of Swarupa Ananda. That will not lead to moksha. And because there is an erroneous understanding there that still instead of Vishaya Sukha, now you are holding on to Samadhi Sukha, which is manifest in the mind, not your Swarupa. It's a reflection again. So there is an erroneous understanding. And other way to see it is that if you hold on to that Samadhi, then that Samadhi becomes more important than your own Swarupa, which is the Aikya. Thereby Samadhi is something to be gained. It becomes an object, and thereby again you are deprived of your Swarupa, which is moksha. So that is what Bhagavan Gaudapadacharya says in Karika, in Mandukya Karika. Here the Gita Vachana is quoted, Rasopyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate iti smritya nishesham yatha bhavati. What is that? The vasana. Vasanas become nishesha, they do not remain. Then Sukshmatmana na syat tatha. So yatha bhavati means what? Yatha Sukshmatmana api na syat. Even in a subtle form, these vasanas do not remain. Vasanas are subtle, but subtle in the sense these manifested subtle and unmanifested subtle, so which is called as Kashaya Rupa. In that form also it will not be there. In unmanifest form also these vasanas will not remain. So next time when you try to focus on the tattva, gain nishtha, then it will be very easy. Thereby elsewhere it is said, Yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadhayaha. Then what will happen? Wherever the mind goes, everything will have become Brahma. There is no Vishaya, there is no craving for Vishaya. So wherever your mind runs, that is all Brahma. You don't have to put an effort to withdraw there, because everything is Brahman for you. Nama Rupa is Mithya, and then there itself is Samadhi. You don't have to separately do Vedanta Vichara, because Vedanta Vichara is continuous now. Nothing is seen separate from oneself. That is the end result. So Sukshmatmana api na syat tatha. So Yatha bhavati tatha I said. So Sukshmatmana api na syat tatha. That is the meaning of Yatha bhavati tatha. It is like the adverbial sense is explained in the sense of Yatha bhavati tatha. In this manner when it happens. Nishesham means what? Nishesham is adverbial. Nisheshataya. nisheshataya, vasananam nishesha, what is that nishesha? It is in such a manner, the freedom from vasanas is such a manner that nothing remains, in a sense. In that manner it happens, the depletion is in that manner that they don't remain even in the subtle form. तथा मूलाज्ञानेन आश्रयेण सह मोक्षे अत्यंतं निवृत्तौ आत्मानुभूति प्रतिबंध शून्य निर्गला. So atmanubhuti is pratibandha shunya. Then when atyanta nivritti happens, moksha is atyanta nivritti from samsara, and here moksha from vasanas is mentioned here. When moksha from vasanas happens, then moksha from samsara happens, because jnana is already there. This is the meaning of the 277th shloka and vyakhya. कार्यनाशन द्वारा कारणं क्षपणीयम् इति वासना कार्य भ्रांति नाशं वासना क्षय कारणम् आह नवभिः श्लोकैः स्वात्मन्येव इत्यादिभिः. Now the next 9, through the next 9 shlokas, what Bhagavad Padacharya is doing is swatmani eva sada sthitya, no, sorry, not karyanashana dwara karanam kshapaniyam. See, generally what happens when we do not indulge, the rasa remains, and then at the next opportunity it tries to bring in, manifest the craving, and then we lose control. But however, when karana goes away, karya has no place. When ajnana goes away, ajnana karya will not remain. But now ajnana has thinned, but it has not gone away. Vasanas are there, they have not gone away, and we are trying to lessen our indulgence. At that stage, what should we do? So here it is said, although when karya goes away, karana rupa rasa can be there, but still the more you have vairagya, abhyasa vairagya, the more you practice, the more you withdraw, the karana will also lessen. Because you are not indulging, there is no, the vasanas are not becoming firm anymore. The rasa may be there, but then it is thinning, because you are not, they also survive on being strengthened. The way the mind is weakened by not giving food, similarly the vasanas are weakened by not feeding them, by karya, by indulgence. They become stronger and stronger by, they survive on being fed more and more. So here it is said karya nashana dwara. So you cognitively take away karya from karana. Then what happens is that you are not indulging anymore in karya. Karya nashana dwara karanam shapaniyam. The karana will weaken. Here in the karya karana aikya that we see, there we are landing on atma tattva. Here what we are doing, we are looking at the ajnana karya, and we are saying that this all the vishaya sukha is all ajnana karya, and I withdraw from them. Then the karana ajnana weakens, the vasanas weaken, or karana in the sense ajnana karya also, but still it is vasana which is ajnana karya. They are the karana for manifested craving. So you work on the craving and work on the indulgence, then what will happen? Then the karana, vasana will also become weakened. Shapaniyam, it should be weakened. Iti vasana karya bhranti nasham vasana kshay karanam. So vasana karya bhranti, you see all that as bhranti and then don't indulge, then once they are destroyed, then vasana kshaya, they will become karana for vasana kshaya. The more you indulge, they become stronger. The less you indulge, they weaken. Therefore, vasana kshaya karanamaha, it is explained other way around. Navabhi shlokaihi swatmani evati. So next 9 shlokas, this is explained as to how to weaken the vasanas, and by not indulging in vasana karya, and then how vasana kshaya happens. The next 9 shlokas have this refrain which we'll see. Swatmanyeva sadastitya mano nashyati yoginah vasananam kshayaschatah swadhyasapanam kuru. So the Guru is telling the Shishya, swadhyasapanam kuru. You withdraw from this swadhyasa. Adhyasa superimpose this bhranti. This is karya. So you withdraw from all this. apanem kuru, you take away this kalpitatvam, you take away this prapancha which is kalpita, you take away all the indulgence. How so? It is says, Swatmani eva sadastitya. All the time remain in your own self, and through that manaha yoginha manaha nashyati. He says the mind gets destructed on its own. That is manonasha. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi also talked about manonasha, and prior to him even Panchadashikara, Vidyaranyacharya, he talks about it. Jivan Mukti Viveka, he talks about Vasanakshaya and manonasha. These are two things which are going to fructify Jivan Mukti Ananda. Therefore, manonasha, this is what manonasha is. Manaha nashyati. Mind will become it will resolve. So nashyati, nasha is nasha adarshane, nasha adarshane. So it is not going to manifest in full-fledged form and project this samsara, this prapancha. Therefore manaha nashyati, manonasha is, there is Mithyatva Nishchaya will be so complete that the mind will not have to project anything more as real anymore. It can't. It has lost this strength because Ajnana going, one of the karyas of Ajnana is Vikshepa. That will also go away. Even if Vikshepa remains, you don't see the world as separate from yourself. It is not existent as a real entity anymore. That is called as Manonasha here. It will not have this projection anymore. You will see yourself everywhere. Thereby Vasananam kshaya, atascha vasananam kshaya bhavati. Vasanas will deplete, and then through this what are you doing? Swadhyasa apanayanam kuru. He is telling the Shishya, you do this. Kuru is lot lakara madhyama purusha ekvachana. You do this. What do you do? Swadhyasa apanayanam. You destroy this swadhyasa. Your own adhyasa you take away. It is not an adhyasa which is created by anyone else. You yourself are responsible in your ajnana karya indulgence. Therefore, the less you indulge, they'll become weaker and weaker, vasanas, and thereby swadhyasa they cannot have. They cannot create an adhyasa because vasanas will have reduced and you are not indulging, so they are not stronger anymore. Yoginaha chittasya rajasi tamasischa vrittihi nirundhataha. So what do yogis do? Yoga, the first sutra, Yoga Sutra, after introduction, Atha Yoga Anushasanam. So this is the teaching of yoga. After that, the first sutra, meaning the second sutra in Yoga Sutra is what? Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is the definition of yoga, which is Samadhi. Chitta Vritti Nirodha. There is Nirodha of Vritti of Chitta. So modification of mind, loose translation. We don't need those. Chitta we know, and we know Vrittis. So vritti of the chitta, there is nirodha of that. That is called as yoga, and that is the culmination also into samadhi. So that is the definition. Yogina chittasya nirundhata. So they do nirodha of chitta. Chitta vritti? Which kind of vrittis? To begin with, rajasi tamasischa vrittihi. The vrittis which are rajasika and tamasika vrittis you take away. You be alert. Otherwise you will fall asleep. Even after you take away all the tamasika vritti, still the laziness may come back because you are meditating, and rajasika vritti because you don't want to be active, the mind to be active and hop around into some kriya. Otherwise you will get up, you can't meditate, you will be so active during meditation. So you have to withdraw rajasika vritti, but you should not fall into sleep. Nidra vritti it should not be. Therefore chittasya vritti nirundhata, they remove these kind of vrittis, and then Sattva-utkarshena, how should you take away rajas and tamas? By sattva. So sattva you have to have a sattvika thought to take away the other two. So atmanyeva brahmani eva sadastitya. And what kind of a yogi is this? This is not a yogi who does dharana on anything and everything. This is a yogi who is Vedantic, so therefore he has his dharana on Aikya. Thereby Brahmani eva sadastitya. Swatmani eva Brahmani. In one's own Swarupa, which is Brahmatma, one remains sadastitya, remaining there, nididhyasana ityartha. So his yoga is through nididhyasana, on the tattva, not on anything else. Manaha nashyati pradipa jwala santanavat vritti santana rupena parinamamanam yeah, parinavamanam antakaranam swavegam tyaktva niruddham bhavati. So it loses its movement, the swavegam, its own movement into others. The antakarana has a movement into others, that stops. Tyaktva, it gives up that, and then manaha niruddham bhavati. Nashyati means niruddham bhavati, it resolves. Vritti is resolved. How? Like pradeepa jwala santanavat, like the flame. The flame is what? It is not the same fire. You see a single flame, but actually it is a series of units, and then it's a sequence, because the oil which is being burnt, let's say a unit of oil which is being burnt in the first flame, that flame has already burnt that oil and that flame has gone. The next one has come with the next unit of oil, and so there is a santana, series of these units of, so to say, units of fire which have made this flame. It is not a single flame. And similarly, vritti, you hold on to the vritti. How do you hold on to single vritti? At the cost of other vrittis. You give up all other vrittis, and then you bring back the same vritti of aikya, of mahavakya, and then it becomes continuous by bringing it back again and again. You bring back the same vritti. Mind has to entertain only one type of vritti, which is this aikya rupa. Therefore, the sequence of vrittis, vritti santan rupana parinamanam, and other vrittis are to be given up. Therefore, antakarana swavegam tyaktva. Finally, what will happen? All the tamasika and rajasika vrittis will have been given away. There will be a sequence of sattvika vrittis, and that vritti also will finally resolve. Niruddham bhavati. Tataha brahma samipya balena shantidanti rupa shuddha vasanayam dridayam bhavantyam satyam sati saptami bahya nimitte satyapi krodhadyanutpatti vasananam kshayah. Then there is an anutpatti of krodha ityadi. So he is giving an example of krodha. There will be no anger, etc. What happens? Brahma samipya balena. This Brahma samipya bala is, samipya means figurative there. We have seen the Vijnanamaya Kosha is the closest to Brahmatma, Atma, because the Kosha is closest, and we identify ourselves, therefore it is closest. What happens is that Brahma Samipya Balena, then there is nothing else, no other vritti is going on there. Thereby what will happen? The mind will have resolved, so to say resolved, and the vritti alone, this only vritti is keeping it alive, and then it is Brahma Rupa, Aikya Rupa vritti, thereby Brahma Samipya Balena. This Shantidan, Shamadama is there, so Shantidanti Rupa Shuddha Vasanayam, only Shamadama Rupa Vasanas are there, and when they become Dridayam Bhavantyam, when these Vasanas of Shamadama become very Dridha, you don't give in to indulgences, your mind is not running haywire, then Bahya Nimitte Sati Api, even if there are Nimittas, external world, we know that it exists, even if we think that it exists, and there may be Nimitta to indulge, there may be people around you, there may be Vishayas around you that you had craving for earlier. What happens? Krodhadyanutpatti vasananam kshayah. So he gives an example. There is no reason for you to have any of these earlier rasa which are fructifying in the mind as krodha vritti, raga vritti, dvesha vritti, all of these, any of these. Thereby vasananam kshayah. The vasanas do not manifest. Purvapara paramarsham antarena, purvapara paramarsham antarena sahasa utpadyamanasya krodhadi vritti visheshasya hetoho chittagata samskara visheshasya eva vasana shabdartvatvat. What is vasana finally? He explains why vasana kshaya is happening, because now krodhotpatti and all is not happening. Why? Because you are working on yourself, holding on to your own swarupa. Therefore samipya balat, brahma samipya balena, what is happening? Shama dama vrittis are becoming stronger. They are working on the other vrittis which are counter to, they are contradictory to your nature. Then what is happening is that what is going to happen is Purvapara paramarsha antarena sahasa utpadyamanasya. Suddenly some of these, anger suddenly comes up. So that's why anger example is given. It is easier to see. others you relate, others you can relate as to, you try to bring in some sambandha as this is why I had this kind of a vritti, I thought this because of this reason, that reason. But krodha suddenly comes up. Therefore krodha is better fitting. It is an upalakshana. He says sahasa utpadyamana, so it suddenly comes out of nowhere. That karya is nothing but vasana. So he says krodhadi vritti visheshasya hetoho, that what is the hetu for that krodha to come, for suddenly krodha to come, anger to come? Chittagata samskara visheshasya, that manifestation in the mind of krodha is what? Nothing else but vasana. That itself is called as vasana. The manifested vasana which is manifesting in the form of krodha is vasana, nothing else. It is called as vasana. Therefore vasana shabdartatva, that is the meaning. So once krodha ityadi are not coming, that the reason is because there is no utpatti, is because the vasana is being worked on, and vasana kshaya happens means they do not manifest in the mind anymore. That is where the manifestation is. That is how you will know that there are vasanas, only when it manifests. If they are not manifesting, they will definitely not block your nishtha. Atah swadhyasapanem kuru viparita bhavana nivartaya. So adhyasa, which is viparita bhavana, I am karta bhokta, you drop that idea. Panchasu kosheshu samyak vichare atma buddhim parityaja. What is the meaning of that swadhyasapanem kuru? He is explaining it here because that is a refrain in the next 8 shlokas. Atha swadhyasapanem kuru viparita bhavana nivartaya. Give this viparita bhavana, meaning what? Panchasu kosheshu samyak vicharya. Inquiring into these koshas as koshas, atma buddhim parityaja. Do not think yourself as any of these koshas. Rajasa tamasa vritti nirodha rupa yoga eva katham iti chedaha tama iti. How is this yoga that you have described? Please explain that. If that is the question, the next shloka explains that. How this Rajasa and Tamasa vritti nirodha has to be done. Tamo dvabhyam rajasattva sattvam shuddhena nashyati tasmat sattvam avashtabhya swadhyasapanem kuru. So swadhyasapanem kuru is the refrain. You withdraw yourself from the koshas with atma bhava. This is the idea in all the shlokas, the set of 9. So how is this yoga? He says tamaha dvabhyam nashyati. That's the anvaya. Tamaha, tamas. The tamas is destroyed by rajas and sattva. Dvabhyam, with 2. Which are the other 2? Rajas and sattva. So with rajas and sattva, you destroy the tamaha. So, or it is actually tama destroys itself. Nashyati is like it works on itself. So tamaha nasha happens. Tama nashyati. Tamaha nashyati means what? Through rajas and sattva and rajas, tamas resolves on its own, as though on its own, because others are working on it. So it's nash dhatu, as though it works on itself. Whatever is a karta, the karta. So you say ghata nashyati, meaning ghata destroys itself. Mana nashyati, mind destroys itself. That is the kind of meaning there. So mind resolves. Similarly here, tamaha, through using rajas and sattva, tama resolves. Then how does rajas resolve? Rajaha sattva nashyati, and rajas goes away due to sattva. Tamas goes away due to rajas and sattva. Rajas goes away due to sattva. Then sattva, how will it go? Because that will also, sattva also, which will bring punya. That sattva also will block nishtha. Therefore finally sattva has to go away, not in the beginning. Otherwise none of this is possible. Journey itself is impossible if you give up everything all at once. So shanai it is mentioned. Then sattvam shuddhena nashyati. With nirguna atma, the sattva also, sattva vasana will also go. Sattva will go away, nashyati. Then tasmat sattvam avashtabhya. Therefore you hold on to sattva. Don't give away sattva first. Hold on to sattva, hold on to dharma, and with that take away tamaha and rajas. Tasmat sattvam avashtabhya. Take resort to sattva, and then through that what? Swadhyasapanem kuru. Take away this vikshepa. Dvabhyam rajas sattvabhyam tamaha nashyati. Tama goes away by rajas and sattva. Prasiddham hi, and he gives example. How is it so? How do you just make a statement and go away? He says prasiddham hi loke. It has prasiddham hi. Prasiddham means loke prasiddham. It is well known in the world that when you are tama, what is the effect of tama? Laziness. When you are feeling lazy, sleepy, even when a child is feeling that, what do the parents say? Go for a round of walk or something. So vyayamadina, you exercise. When you exercise, then what will happen? The nidra vritti will go away, tama vritti will go away. So prasiddham hi vyayamadina kavya shastra vinodadina. So vyayama is rajas. You are doing some kriya, thereby tama goes away. But sometimes it also goes away what? Kavya shastra vinodadina. So kavya, through kavya, shastra, all of these vinoda, well known meanings I am not explaining. These are sattva. So kavya, shastra, vinoda, all these are sattva. So with humor, with with shastra, some shastra, somebody tells you a shastra story or something like that. With jnana also it goes away. Kavya ityadi, because you listen to something which is very expressive. Suddenly you lose your sleep. You say, oh, I cannot sleep. It is so interesting. So with sattva also you can remain alert and not fall asleep or become lazy. Therefore vyayamadina meaning through rajas and kavya shastra vinodadina meaning through sattva. So vyayamadina kavya shastra vinodadina va alasya nidradi tamasa dharman nashayanti iti prasiddham hi. It is indeed known that alasya, laziness, nidra, sleep, etc., these kind of tamasa dharma qualities go away due to sattva and rajas. Rajaha sattvat nashyati. So rajaha sattvat, what is sattva there? Chittaikagre rupa sattva karyena karmani pravrittischa tyajanti iti rajaha sattvan nashyati. Since with concentration, sattva is concentration, with focus, with concentration, that kind of a concentration, raja also goes away. You focus on some tattva, you will withdraw from the kriya. So that is the sattva there. With sattva, earlier kavya shastra vinoda was said, and here now with vedanta vichara, even one starts withdrawing from karma also. You don't feel like indulging other things once you get a taste of this atma tattva. You know your swarupa, and then you give up everything else. That's why sannyasa is very it's a natural result of knowing the tattva, or even focusing on the tattva, chitta ekagre rupa. When you are meditating, you don't want to go out and you feel calm and you don't have to indulge. Therefore raja sattvat nashyati. Tadapi sattvam shuddhena nirgunena nashyati. And then with nirguna brahma, from atma perspective, nothing else is there. Thereby sattva also goes away by holding on to nirguna brahma atma swarupa. Nirguna praptau sattva vrittehe jnanasya api nashat. And what happens? Nirguna praptau sattva vrittehe, that sattva vritti also goes away. That jnana, which is mahavakya rupa, you hold on to mahavakya, then finally you are still holding on to something. Mahavakya is a tool to land into your own swarupa. It is also neti prakriya. When you say tattvamasi, then I am not the karana, I am not the karya. You have seen that earlier, elaborately it was discussed that it is a neti prakriya, and then you don't hold on to the vritti. There are people who want to hold on to the vritti. You should not hold on to the vritti. Let the vritti go. You don't care for the vritti anymore because you remain in your own swarupa. It is a natural effect that sattva vrittehe jnanasya api nashat. It goes away by once you, that is mukti. Nirguna praptau. When nirguna prapti happens, then there is no guna that you have to hold on to. This manaha becomes a guna, this vritti becomes a guna, all that goes away automatically. Tasmat sattvam avashtabhya. Therefore resort to sattva, because it is that which will help you bridge from the outer to the inner, and then sattva will lead you to nirguna. Otherwise, without sattva you cannot come to nirguna. So hold on to sattva so that it can take away the tamas and rajas, and then sattva will automatically go. You don't have to work on sattva, removal of sattva. You hold on to nirguna, then sattva, which will become easy once there is no tamas and rajas. Once tamas and rajas drops away, which is blocking your nishtha, then sattva also will go away, because nishtha will be automatic, and then sattva will no longer be needed. So elsewhere the example is given that sattva should be used like a sorry, there is a lot of noise here. Please give me a moment. So the sattva also goes away. The example given is like the pyre which is lit through with a stick. That stick is also finally offered in the same pyre. Similarly, this sattva kind of a stick, with that the pyre is lit and then you give away that sattva also in nirguna. So that is the 279 shloka. We'll look at the others in the next part. So here he says, sorry, where was I? With this noise I got a little distracted, it was too noisy here. Therefore tasmat sattvam avashtabhya avalambya tamakruta avarana kalika rajakruta vikshepa rupanam swadhyasanam brahmanam apanayam nasham kuru. So last line I have not read. So last line says that nirguna prapto sattorte jnanasya api nashat, and then tasmat, therefore sattvam avashtabhya, this is what we are looking at, hold on to this sattva. Tamakruta avarana kalika. What is the effect? Tama is what? We have seen there are three effects of ajnana. Ajnana has three shaktis. Avarana shakti, vikshepa shakti, and then jnana shakti. You hold on to that jnana shakti, which is what? The sattva shakti. Tamaha will bring in avarana. It will veil your swarupa, and rajaha will give vikshepa. Once tama and rajas goes away, avarana vikshepa go away. Thereby swadhyasanam brahmanam apanayam nasham kuru. By holding on to sattva, you take away the other two. Holding on to sattva jnana, you remove the other tama avarana and rajaha vikshepa. Thereby you remove the swadhyasa apanayam. Swadhyasa apanayam kuru means remove the nasha, you destroy swadhyasa. सर्व वेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरंतम गोचरम गोविंदम परमानंदम सद्गुरुम प्रणतोस्म्यहम्. Any questions? I'll see you in the next part. Namaste.